on the chain gang. I want to tell them how to stop doing that. Can I tell you what it's going to take? It's going to take me to be sincere. And it's going to take us to fund it. I talked to Judge Betty Allen Green. And I said to her, Judge, I got a piece. She said, well, that's great, that's wonderful. But you know, if you can get the churches. See, that's the buzzword for control.
See that? See that?
Because she and I know, looking at one another.
Thank you. That's not going to happen. Go ahead. Hallelujah. Call it what it is.
Well, why ain't that going to happen?
Because they're not together either.
Because
next, and no questions.
we having dialogue now.
Yes, Casey.
Heaven.
I'm sorry.
No, you don't be sorry. Say it again.
Let's say
I said half of the church look like them. Either physically or spiritually.
Who is it that are in these courts? But church mamas, grandchildren,
I know, right?
and children.
So that means it didn't work, did it?
Well, my question is, with all the authority and the power that God's word have, why is it that the ministry has not become a father to grandmama's offspring? See, here's the thing. We can beat up on the average brother about being irresponsible as a father. But if he came and asked you on Monday morning, like Nicodemus did. I knew he was a black man. You know why? Because his name was Nicodemus. What must I do
To be saved.
I'm in bondage. My children are dying every day. What must I do to be saved today?
You weren't too proud to ask.
What can the preacher say to him to save him today?
Wow. Wow. That's good.
I'm not saying, Clarence, I got all the answers, but I got a framework. So this is what I want you to do. Y'all talk to me. Tell me what I need to do to get you to join in this fight with me. Let's talk. Just for, and if you got to go, I understand. But look here, we got the place to 4 o'clock. I'm here for you. Signed, sealed, and delivered. I'm yours. Here I am, people. Casey, you don't know nothing about that, do you?
Yes, sir.
Dr. Kilcrease,
Yes, sir.
I know he got, I won't tell his business, but he got a family matter. And you know what? I didn't think he was going to be able to stay as long as it. Hey, man, can I tell you something?
Yes.
I love you.
Thank you. Same here.
Like peanut butter love jelly on wheat bread.
Right.
Ain't no good without a cold glass of milk. God bless you. God bless you.
Oh, yeah.
Kathy, what's up?
Do you have my car?
Huh? Oh, yes. Go ahead. Kathy, we're going to give these other cards away too before we. Kathy, thank you.
I mean, I want to say something.
Yes.
My son, he's 22. But ever since he was little, you know, he have a father, but I'm the one been there for him all the time.
Yes, ma'am.
Like when he was 4 years old, him and my daughter went into the store. He came out with some candies, and I asked my daughter where he get it from. She said he picked it up. So I said, well, you got to go back in the store. You have to tell this lady that you stole this candy, but you're going to pay for it. I said, you don't pick up stuff if it don't belong to you.
Right.
And I told him, I said, every time we go to the store, you need to have some money in your pocket. So I just think when a kid is small, you got to stop it right then and there and teach him.
Right.
You can't wait till you get home. I tell him that's okay, you know. And at the age now, he's 22, and I'm still telling him stuff. I'm still trying to guide him and tell him the truth. But when he got about 15, I told him, I have brought you up, but I can't teach you how to be a man. And at that time, somebody else had to teach him, because I can't teach you how to be a man.
When do we tell young men to be responsible, that you're on your own? Society said you can be free to do what you want to. What age do we tell
They said 18, but they really not on their age.
Can I tell you something? If you wait until he's 18, he is socially retarded. He's behind.
Amen.
He is way behind. You need to start talking to him at age between 4 and 6 years old.
That's right.
That's when he's identifying his character and with his masculinity. And there is a correlation between his masculinity and later what he's going to do when he does become a legal age.
But I tell you one more thing. He had his license, and the police stopped him out on Grant, I forgot the road,
Okay.
Straightway.
Yes.
And the police called me and told me it was curfew time. And I thanked him for that, but I asked him not to hit my son across the head. And he said, "Man, I'm not gonna hit your son across the head." He said, "I just called and let you know that we writing him a ticket for being out late at night."
I get it.
And he said that he was on his way with his friend out. And he told my son to call me when he get there. And I thank the police for even having the time to call me.
I remember when the police used to come to projects in Chicago, and we used to call them oink oink pigs, and we were as disrespectful as we possibly can. And can I tell you something? I got a few knots. Because I had a father up until I was 8 years old in the home with me, and he was a disciplinarian, you know. He was that hardcore. He would beat dog. He was about whooping, but he wasn't talking. You understand? And I was good as long as he was around, but when he left, oh, shucks, it's on now.
See that?
Because I learned to respond to what? Physical punishment, not what? Understanding. And the police have a difficult job because they're citizens like you are. You understand what I'm saying? They have children like you do. But they have an obligation to uphold the civic expectations of the law. If me or your son or anybody else don't abide by that, guess what? They have a job to do. And when they buck that authority, the police is commissioned by the government to what? Enforce the law. Even if deadly force is necessary. And that's what these young guys have to understand. Now, yes, there are some crooked cops. Even with that, you knowing that they're crooked cops, you walk and you toe the line.
That's right. That's right.
Huh? The reason Dr. King was able to protest the Jim Crow laws is because it was a crooked law. It was one-sided. And he exposed that legally. Right? And fortunately, the news media were hungry for ratings. So they covered it, and it became national and international news. And it put America in a position where they had to what? Come on up and do right. When you're doing right and somebody approach you wrong, everybody gonna know it ain't nothing right with it. That's stank. You see what I'm saying? And that's a good point. And that's what we have to tell our young men. Listen, yes, things have not been fair. It's been tough. It's been difficult. But the truth of the matter is, you're the only person that can determine the rest of your life.
That's right.
How you respond. You know it's wrong out there. You know it's dirty.
That's right.
Don't go out there.
That's right.
Huh? If it's raining outside, get an umbrella or a raincoat, right? Or get wet.
That's true.
Well, I got to get man the way I live. People that do that invariably face what? Certain outcomes. It doesn't matter who you are. It could be me. But I appreciate it. Anybody else?
I just wanted to switch the focus to prevention, but I think you touched on that because what a lot of us as African Americans do, we wait until the police calls.
Right.
They call from jail as opposed to teaching how not to get yourself in that position and focusing on that. Teaching our kids to have prepared responses. We wait until something happens.
That's right.
My lights got cut off, so let me call my mother, let me call the church. As opposed to saying, my light bill is due in 2 weeks. Let me prepare for this before it gets there. So we have to start teaching our kids some prepared responses to situations that we know exist because we went through them.
That's right.
That's the
They're not
basis.
changing.
See, when you talk to a child, you say, baby, I'm not just trying to tell you something so I can be mean or ugly to you,
Right.
but I've lived this.
That's right.
And I've had to struggle with this.
That's right.
That's it.
And I want you to understand that I love you enough to try to avoid you having to struggle.
That's right.
Now, yes, you can go out and do something contrary to what I say, but guess what? You'll put both of us in a predicament where we'll be sad and brokenhearted. And I might not be able to get you out of jail.
That's right.
Or I might not be able to get there fast enough to spare your life. So you've got to use your power and your authority to what? Walk right, and at least there's a greater chance that you won't become a victim. But to your point, one of the things I want to invite all of Nashville to do, and I developed a grant and I submitted it to the Tennessee State Department of Education in 2009. They said no. And I appealed that 3 times. The commissioner, you know what he told me? Well, we're just going to hope, and that's the end of it. There's no more recourse. So you know what it said to me, don't you? Now, I'm just one person. And God has blessed that my children are doing pretty good in the public school system. So I'm not going to say everybody's bad, right? And they got some wonderful teachers, as there are wonderful teachers and employees in the metro school system. But I ask myself, what is it then that I can do? If I don't do nothing else, Doc, I should share with the people what the answer and the solution is. This is our model for Urban Community Support Consortium. The consortium is a body of people who are working together. And you use the voices of authority. In the black community, what is the greatest voice of authority?
Church.
Did I say that, or did they say that? We know that, don't we? Well, we know that, don't we? Next to the church is gangs, right? Is that right? Listen, in this consortium, you need to go to the gang bang and say, look, brother, your life may have been messed up, but let's break that cycle for these cats coming behind you looking at you want to be the pimp, the hustler, and the drug dealer, and the Mac daddy. Let's break that cycle.
And you know that works because when they have a basketball player in their community that they think gonna go to the NBA, they get together and they protect that dude forever.
There you go.
They do. So it does work when they are encouraged.
Here you go.
For it to work.
Here you go.
Because D. Rose had nobody bother him in Chicago. Nobody. Because they knew he was gonna go pro. He was raised in one of the hoods in Chicago.
Here you go. So it begs the question, what is success? It depends on how you use what you got. But the truth of the matter is, in America, they respond to suit and tie. If you want to be taken seriously now. But if you got a lot of money at your disposal, what are you doing with it? What you got it for if you ain't? See, when you do that, you make thieves hungry. There was a preacher in Ohio, took me to that. Man, he had about 150 suits. I let him know. I'm talking about $500, $600. Gators and what have you. KC went to preach at a conference, and them Negroes broke in his house, man, took all this. I won't call his name, so you might know. It was in Ohio. He was hot. I said, look, man, God called us to preach, not to be big shot callers and ballers and look, man, what you need all them suits for anyway? They know you sitting on gold. And they cleaned him out. It was funny. It wasn't funny, but it was funny. They cleaned him out. And he was ready to go shoot somebody.
Now he ready to go shoot somebody.
a gangbanger.
Now he ready to go shoot somebody. Ain't that something? Practice what you preach.
It's utterly amazing.
What I see, Reverend Doctor, what I think that would help from my standpoint is, I go to a lot of these sessions often, and I see a lot of the same, and not meaning each of you, but a lot of the same concerned parents, a lot of the same concerned single parents. I'm in a 2-family home, but I see a lot of the same things, and you have 5 to 10 people that want to do, when you have the whole community that you left behind instead of bringing them with you.
Yes, ma'am.
When you sit at home and you watch the news, and he and my mirror had this in our discussion, and you see on the TV a wave pool open, and all they show on the news is the thugs, like I said on the picture.
Right.
But you don't have our community coming together saying, that's not who was there, that's not who was doing it. We need these same strong voices. If you look and you watch the news, every time a black person is killed, shot, robbed, a car wreck, it happens in North Nashville.
Yes, it does.
But then, C.E. Magruder Center, if you're from out north,
Okay.
which used to be the old John Irving,
Right.
which is right down the street from Dodge City, which